Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves, because what just erupted in Washington, what President Donald J. Trump revealed behind closed doors, this is the kind of political earthquake that rattles the entire nation in a single breath. So tonight, we're not dealing with rumor, we're not dealing with speculation, we are dealing with the documents, the statements, the federal actions the establishment prayed you would never see, folks. So while the FBI scrambles to explain a brand new leak that shatters their entire crooks narrative, while agents inside the Bureau quietly raise alarms about evidence that was hidden from the public, Washington was rocked, absolutely rocked by a $5 million FEMA fraud indictment that sent Democrats sprinting for the exits. And then, because apparently that wasn't chaotic enough, the Bush dynasty decided that this week, toward the end of November 2025, under a President Trump presidency, was the perfect time to crawl out of the shadows and float the idea that they, of all people, are ready to take back the Republican Party once Trump leaves office. What do you think about that? Are you a fan of that? Yay or nay? Let me know, guys. Folks, when I say that this town is melting down, I mean it. I mean the old guard, the deep state, the Democratic machine, it all got hit at once. 3 different fronts, one single week, and it has really sent every political insider into absolute panic mode. But this is the part that nobody expected. President Trump, he saw it coming. He didn't panic. He took the gloves off. He confronted the FBI's contradictions. He ripped the mask off the FEMA corruption scheme. He humiliated the Bush comeback plot before it even started. And then he dropped an unexpected Oval Office truth bomb that stunned even his closest advisors. Now, you haven't heard this anywhere else, guys. Buckle up, because we're about to break this open. Turn up the volume, because what I'm about to show you, this will change the way that you look at the FBI, the Democrats, and the old Republican establishment forever. Hit the like button and subscribe. This is not just another headline. This is the week that the truth detonated in Washington, and Donald Trump lit the fuse. So now, before the rest of this wildfire even begins, let me go ahead and start with this unexpected Trump story that lit Washington on fire this morning, okay? So sources inside the West Wing are saying that President Trump walked into a national security briefing holding a single-page memo, and when he read it out loud, the entire room went silent. Several senior staff reportedly said that they had never heard this detail before, and what Trump revealed wasn't speculation, it wasn't rumor. This was a documented contradiction inside the FBI's own internal communications about the Crooks investigation. I'm talking about Thomas Matthew Crooks, okay? Now, this is a contradiction that proves someone somewhere has been burying the truth. That this is why the establishment is panicking. That is why this week exploded. And then, almost like clockwork, Tucker Carlson drops his own nuclear charge on live television. He says very bluntly, the FBI lied. Not misled, not misspoke, lied. Tucker reveals that Thomas Matthew Crooks did, in fact, have a digital footprint, messages, searches, posts, a breadcrumb trail that the FBI originally just completely dismissed as minimal. But according to this new leak, that trail wasn't minimal. It was massive. Violent language, radical shifts, political obsession, all ignored or even hidden. Now, here's the question every American is asking tonight. Why is this being uncovered now, in late 2025, with Donald J. Trump back in the Oval Office? Anybody else wondering that? Drop a yes right now, guys. Trump responded very firmly. We will clean every corner of this place. The deep state tension, it's still very real, guys. But before we go any deeper into this mess, I need to talk to the people watching who are retired or close to it, because what I'm about to say, this has already helped thousands of my viewers. Most retirees won't say it out loud, but there's a quiet fear. What if my coverage fails when I need it the most? And that fear is real, because healthcare costs don't just go up, they ambush you. This is why I partnered with Chapter. Chapter doesn't guess. They don't throw random plans at you. They actually check your Medicare plan line by line, and they walk you through what you have, what you don't have, and what could hurt you. They make your coverage make sense, and they make you feel safe again. Now, one of our viewers told me, for the first time, I'm not scared of a surprise bill. And honestly, that right there is priceless. Now, most people are choosing safety right now, quietly, confidently, and that safety starts with calling the phone number down below. And that phone number is 909-563-8279. Or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron. And speaking of viewers having real life-changing results, listen to this one. So Brenna Kings said, "Hey, Ron, By the way, thank you so much for telling me about Chapter. Tyler was wonderful, set me up with the best program for me, and already saved me so much money. Again, thank you, Ron. I told them I heard about them through your program. I appreciate that. This is why I talk about Chapter, folks, because when people win, when people save money, when people feel protected, it really matters. All right, so let's get back to the chaos going on in Washington. Now, this is where everything gets even darker because the new leak doesn't just expose contradictions, it exposes omissions. Key details about Crook's behavior in Butler, Pennsylvania, they were left out of early FBI briefings. A lot of people are wondering, why is that? We now know agents were alerted to Crooks carrying a rangefinder. This is the exact tool that a sniper uses to measure distance. And instead of escalating security, they waved him through with, "Sir, you're not golfing today, are you?" I mean, his violent posts ignored, his sudden political radicalization ignored, and President Trump is furious. He said, "Someone inside the Bureau decided protecting the institution mattered more than protecting the American people." And that right there is when the room realized sabotage is still live inside of the system. And here's the thing, guys. President Trump warned them about this. He said from day one of his second term, "We are going full transparency." Pam Bondi promised the Epstein files. Kash Patel promised a full unsealing. The American people, especially Gen Z, voted for Trump because they wanted the truth. But inside the DOJ and the FBI, foot dragging became the norm. Committees stalled, reviews stretched into months, bureaucrats suddenly forgot deadlines, and Trump, in private meetings, reportedly snapped. If you slow walk transparency, you're protecting the guilty. And that right there, that is the real tension, and you can feel it. Only half the federal government wants the truth out. The other half, they want the truth buried forever. And if corruption can't be exposed, America can't be saved. And just when Washington thought it had reached peak chaos, boom, another bomb drops. A sitting Democrat congresswoman by the name of Representative Sheila Sherfless McCormick is indicted for stealing $5 million, guys. $5 million in FEMA disaster relief funds. This is money that was meant for families who had lost homes, businesses destroyed, communities underwater, and instead, prosecutors say that it was laundered through her family's healthcare company, disguised as campaign donations, and routed straight into her political operations and personal spending. $5 million. Now, this was during the worst affordability crisis in decades. Anybody remember COVID? Drop a COVID down below, guys, because President Trump reportedly slammed his fist on the desk and said, if $5 million can disappear this easily, how many tens of billions of dollars vanished before I came back? And this is why he ordered a nationwide FEMA audit effective immediately. Because this wasn't an isolated crime, not even close. That $5 million in FEMA theft, this was a part of a much larger pattern. This was one that exploded during the COVID era, when oversight collapsed and politically protected networks siphoned off hundreds of millions of dollars in relief funds. I mean, just look at Minnesota. The Somali run Feeding Our Future scandal, that alone clocked in nearly $200 million in stolen federal funds. This was the largest COVID fraud operation in U.S. history. This is the same one we talked about that was tied to Ilhan Omar. Luxury cars, foreign properties, offshore transfers, all under the nose of state and federal agencies that are just too overwhelmed to verify anything. Yeah. Or sure, maybe they were just too paid off to verify anything. Who knows, right? Well, Trump looked directly into the cameras today and said the system was built to allow theft, not prevent it. And he's right. I mean, the rot was intentional and now it's being exposed. Drop a FEMA audit down below if it's about time. And then, of course, because this week wasn't explosive enough, the Bush political machine tried to crawl out of the grave. I can't even make this stuff up, guys. So according to reports that are circulating through GOP donor circles, Bush world insiders have been quietly signaling that after Trump leaves office, they plan to reclaim the Republican Party and restore the pre-MAGA establishment. The timing, rather convenient if you think about it. I mean, these whispers began right after Dick Cheney's funeral, when the last major neocon pillar was laid to rest. And almost instantly, talk of a Bush resurgence appeared in the media. Don Jr., he responded in seconds, "We will never let this happen." And he's right. The old guard wants MAGA wiped out. They want the GOP returned to endless wars, outsourcing, and donor class obedience. Now, President Trump, he didn't mince words. So when asked about the Bush comeback attempt, he smiled and said that the Bush era is a relic of a past America, and voters buried it for a reason. Trump reminded the nation what that era gave us. Trillions spent on wars with no victory, thousands of Americans lost lives, a hollowed out middle class, globalist trade policies that gutted American manufacturing. He basically contrasted that with America First, bringing jobs back, ending foreign dependency, forcing NATO allies to pay their share, and keeping our country out of new wars. Now, make no mistake, the Bush network is still alive and well in the shadows, but this fight, it doesn't end in 2025. It continues well into 2028 and beyond. Now, let's talk about other firestorms that are erupting across America, okay? Democrat-run cities are collapsing under their own policies. You've already heard the stories, but this week made them impossible to ignore. A woman stabbed to death in North Carolina by a man released 14 times. A young woman in Chicago set on fire, literally burned alive by someone released 49 times. Another case, a man was arrested 23 times and then sneaks into a home. I can't even tell you this last one. Anyway, it just keeps on getting worse and worse and worse. And every single time, these judges, handpicked by woke politicians, they just let them go. President Trump responded today. Mandatory detention thresholds and consequences for judges who knowingly release violent offenders. Can I get an amen? Because right now, the system protects these criminals and animals more than the victims, and Americans are done with it. And Elon Musk, he said it perfectly. Suicidal empathy. This is the mindset that Democrats have embraced. Endless compassion for violent criminals, zero compassion for law-abiding citizens. They cry over the childhood trauma of a repeat offender, but threw nonviolent January 6 defendants into solitary confinement for years. They release these arsonists, rapists, career predators, but jail the grandmas for trespassing. This is moral inversion. This is upside down justice. And once again, President Trump called it out this morning. This is how civilizations collapse from the inside out when justice is replaced with ideology. And well, he's right. The public knows it, the polls show it, and the Democrats, well, they would rather defend criminals than to admit that they were wrong, and America's finally waking up. Now, this kind of brings us to the core of this entire crisis, the weaponization of the DOJ. Americans haven't forgotten what they tried to do to Trump. 91 indictments, 34 felony counts, a very coordinated legal ambush designed to break him psychologically, financially, and politically. But instead, it revealed their fear. Trump said it himself, if I weren't fighting for you, they would never have come after me this hard. They abused the justice system not to punish crimes, but to punish opposition. And yet, here he stands in November 2025, back in the Oval Office, stronger than ever before. The establishment threw everything that they had at him, and he still survived it all. This is why they fear him. That is why they're panicking right now. Now, here's a twist that the establishment never saw coming. Gen Z flipped. The youngest voters, raised on propaganda, trained in woke classrooms, drowned in TikTok content, rebelled against the very ideology that they were fed. Why? Because they saw the corruption firsthand. They watched the FBI hide evidence. They watched the DOJ target political opponents. They watched the Democrats defend criminals and steal billions in relief funds. They just saw the cost of living explode under Biden. So when Trump promised transparency, security, and accountability, Gen Z said yes. This isn't a small shift. This is a generational earthquake, and it terrifies the political elite because young Americans have decided that they're done being lied to. They want the truth, and Trump is delivering it. Now, here's where President Trump made his boldest move of the week. From the Oval Office, he issued new federal transparency orders. This is the kind that sends shockwaves through every alphabet agency in Washington. Now, Trump authorized accelerated release of long-hidden Epstein files, instructed DOJ units to produce mandatory disclosure timelines, and even deployed internal audit teams to the FBI and other federal institutions. For the first time in decades, these agencies are being forced to open their books and reveal exactly what they've been guarding. Trump said it plainly. If anyone inside government fights these orders, the American people will finally see who's been protecting corruption. And that was the moment everyone understood. The truth war has officially begun. But Trump didn't stop there. He delivered a warning that sent tremors through both parties. The establishment never sleeps. He laid it out clearly. The Bush revival attempt wasn't random, it was coordinated. The FBI's internal resistance wasn't accidental. This was deliberate. The FEMA fraud networks weren't mistakes. They were symptoms of a political class that looted America while pretending to serve it. Trump told the nation that even though he's back in the White House, the forces that tried to sabotage him and sabotage you, they're already preparing their move for 2028. His message was unmistakable. Stay vigilant, stay awake, because the same people who broke the country, they're still trying to claw their way back into power. And after a week of chaos, leaks, indictments, and attempted comebacks, President Trump ended with the line that stopped the room cold. America is better than the people who tried to steal it. Because at the end of the day, this is what this battle has always been about, whether this country belongs to bureaucrats, elites, and dynasties, or to the American people. Trump reminded everyone that transparency is coming, justice is coming, and accountability is no longer optional. And for the first time in a very long time, millions of Americans felt something that they haven't felt in years: hope. The truth is rising, the lies are collapsing, and America under President Donald J. Trump is taking this country back. Hit the like button, share this video. We'll see you guys next time.